We continue to find new talent here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, everyone. It is Friday. It is Friday as we gaze across the seas here from the pirate ship. Artist Journal, February 24th, 2023, broadcasting to the world from Berlin, Germany. A pirate ship in our minds, broadcasting from Berlin, Germany. My name is Adrian Pocobelli. Welcome back, everyone. And it is just more and more discoveries each day. But, you know, we can act surprised. Maybe I should be surprised, but maybe we shouldn't be surprised because this is like a whole world out there. And so, you know, the fact, you know, as Rare once said, it's surprisingly small, this scene. And I actually agree. Like, this could just be the appetizer, everything that we are experiencing here in, say, the last, at least say on this show, the last 6 months or however long it's been since I've been doing this. This could just be the appetizer, you know, the pioneers. So here's to the pioneers, you know, on the pirate ship. I feel like I want to give big cheers. Big cheers. All right. So anyway, I think we got a quick show, which maybe will make everybody, including myself and everybody, happy. I am trying to shorten the shows. Last one went a little longer than I want to go. So look at this. So I thought this was super interesting. It kind of has a bit of a, but I don't even want to go say too far in this direction, a bit of a Basquiat feeling. This is by an artist called Marubu. It kind of has a Basquiat feel, but you know what? Like, but not really. And it's not like, you know, Basquiat drawings all over. It's just a nice kind of painterly background, representational. So all to say, and some nice spray and everything. This is a pretty nice piece. And some guy skateboarding. There's just a lot going on here. I've never seen the artist before. I just really like it. You know, the scribbles here and everything. The color. You know, the color is reminiscent of Tukes, interestingly, right? Those abstract pieces. We're going to see a new one in the AI section and another stunning work by Tukes. Again, that is like staring into the heart of technology itself. The spirit of technology itself. So anyways, Wipeout on Acid by Marubu. This is on Ninfa, and you've probably been seeing, if you're like me, you've been seeing Ninfa a little bit more in the last couple of weeks here. So it seems to me, unless I'm just totally am unaware of what's been going on with Ninfa, but it seems to me like it's getting more popular and more people are doing it. I was looking yesterday in my email, I was like, I think I've heard of these guys. And yeah, they had sent me an invite in, I think, like March 2022. So they actually have been around. I didn't realize they were like a real thing, as many of you do. Artists out there, you get a lot of emails, let's say, of just things that aren't real, or people who maybe they want money to show your work, which out of principle, I generally never do unless it's a friend who, like I've had curators who asked to show my work and then asked for a little bit of money after. I have, you know, just for tiny shows that aren't even, you know, that aren't necessarily going to even help my CV, but sometimes they'll do that just out of kind of support. Sure, here's 25 euros, you know, but generally speaking, I think it's a good principle to not pay anybody. As an artist, you're already paying everything for your tools and everything. You know, don't pay people to show your work. It's sort of my principle. Okay, but anyways, how did we get here? We're talking about Ninfa, so it is a real thing, as many of you know. So anyways, it looks like actually a really nice platform. And I think I saw DanaUlama is minting on there. And here's Marubu's page. So again, it seems like things are happening on Ninfa. Here's Mr. Shapeless. Let's just see if Mr. Shapeless has like one piece. So it seems like people are trying it out. When was this minted? Do we have a date on the mint here? About 3 weeks ago. So as you can see, and I think I recognize this piece from something Mr. Shapeless posted on Twitter, owned by 5 collectors. So this was an edition. So anyways, I think this is super interesting. I mean, we have Object 1, which is coming out in like a few days here. So, you know, it's big business, and a lot of people want a piece of it. Here, look, DanaUlama, starting price 2 ETH, live auction. So, you know, people are trying this out. So we'll see if my invite is still good. We'll see if it still works, because now I'm feeling the FOMO. Anyway, we'll see. I mean, I need to make more work is basically what I need to do. Anyway, that is all happening over there. Cool artist, Marubu. So pretty nice work, Marubu. Good job. Okay, so just a couple of comments here. What was it? This is the one I want to highlight, but thank you to Nomad Potato. Just some really nice thank yous out there from Nomad Potato and Human Boy Vibes who just liked the show, and I appreciate that. You know, you wouldn't believe how many times, like probably like 30% of the time, I kind of finish and I go, well, that was great. You know, like nobody's going to like this one, but just got to hand in your work and you got to go with it. So anyways, I do really appreciate these comments, because half the time, or like a third of the time, you're just like, well, that was fun while it lasted, you know. This is what I wanted to highlight, though. Very interesting take on glitch art. I've never thought of glitch art. This is from RuneTune, by the way, the wonderful co-host of our spaces here. I've never thought of glitch art as a response to technology, but as an experimental practice. It makes sense that the various acts of glitch would be a natural response to the overabundance of technology intersecting our lives. And yeah, I echo the exact same kind of sentiment. But then I thought about it a little more, and I started to wonder to myself, I actually agree with your first thought here, RuneTune, and I'm almost going back to this. I think it really is just an experimental practice, and I think it's really tempting for people to say after the fact that this is a response to technology and our inundation. I think we can say indirectly that is true, because it's simply like we're so much surrounded by technology that we start to see art in the errors, in the glitches. But I don't see it as a conscious, and I'm sure there are people that do, but to me, that's where we start to get on an intellectual level into, this is almost where and nothing against academia, okay? I'm incredibly grateful to academia, but this is where kind of academic thinking sometimes goes overboard and starts to read into things that aren't there, or that, like, to me, this is a very convenient after the fact, oh, look, there's this great kind of glitch art, it disturbs the technology. This must be a political response to our, you know, inundation with technology. And I see that as indirectly true, but not as directly true. You might say, you know, not so I don't think a lot of people are making glitch art as a statement of sorts on our technological situation. I think it's more indirect. In that respect, yes, but not directly, in my opinion, after thinking about it. So I'm really sharing a lot of your like surprise. And yeah, so those are kind of like thoughts in the last 24 hours. And thanks again to Alia and to UMT KSA. So thanks for all the comments, everyone. It's great to hear. Not a number here. So we're discussing the work by Quila Nina with the horizontal person in the air that was kind of flying through the air, and I couldn't think of the artist. Not a number chimes in, were you thinking of Marc Chagall? And indeed, I was. Also, I'm really keen on the Spaces recordings. How do I find these on Spotify? So I have basically uploaded it onto Acast, but I haven't searched on Spotify. I need to make sure all the settings are working. So I'm going to do that today. So I will, maybe I'll post a link when things are obvious on Spotify. And I have about like 8 shows, maybe more, that we could upload. And again, I want to do short form content too, that we push out your guys's, you know, interviews and art to the masses, really, on TikTok and whatever. Instagram and YouTube are pushing the shorts. I think it would be hilarious. You take interview snippets, put someone's artwork, check with the artist on the artwork, send it out on showing the artwork. And if they're cool, then we do that. And isn't that wonderful? And basically people start to get real. I mean, it's great for you as an artist, you know, as well as for the show. So yeah, anyways, more on this soon. Thank you for the comment on Chagall and Spotify. Yeah, I'll keep you updated, and I'm on it. I'm very on it. So Marc Chagall, let me just show you guys. So this is the work we were discussing yesterday, Quila Nina. And there's this person in the air who is horizontal. I'm like, this screams Chagall. And so really cool kind of, visionary mystical artist out of Peru, Argentina. So here's an example. And there's another one too by Chagall where there's, I think, a guy in the air. So this is basically what we're referring to here. There was another one too of a guy in the air. So anyways, thank you, NAN. And spogelsemaskine chimed in from yesterday's show. Thank you for this in-depth analysis of this piece and the title. This was incredible to watch. My wife, Pauline Benson, named the piece the Vanitas as many times before. That's great. And we went through the exact same research. So again, fascinating, this the Vanitas and the memento mori. The memento mori and the difference, they're very similar. The Vanitas seems to be about the vanity, really, of kind of physical, worldly existence, whereas the memento mori seems to is similar to that, but there is a direct emphasis on time. So images like hourglasses, skulls, clocks, this sort of thing. So it's kind of a similar kind of work, but instead of the emphasis being on worldly existence being basically vain and vanity, it's more on just an emphasis on time, but a similar kind of theme. So anyways, I'm really glad you enjoyed it, spogelsemaskine, and it's really great to hear from you. So thank you for the shout out. That was super cool. Just an interesting comment, which I think is illustrative sometimes of how language can be slippery. This is a very illustrative situation here. So PabloPunkasso, it's odd to me how many people reacted negatively to my tweet about artists having a brand. It doesn't have to be just an object in the pieces. It can be a color, stroke style, anything. You'd recognize a Picasso, Van Gogh, or Dali in an instant from far away. That's a brand. So yeah, so to me, this is probably a semantic issue. I suspect a lot of people would agree with the sentiment that your style should be recognizable, but there are, and I don't mind calling art a product, but some people do mind calling it a product. And to me, again, that's a semantic issue. So of course it's a brand, but I think some people would say, well, when I think of brand, I think of a corporation. I think of Kellogg's Cornflakes, and my art isn't like a corporate, Kellogg's Cornflakes box, right? And so to me, this is more of a semantic issue that is showing, and the semantics being brand, people get, basically, I think some people probably get confused by, but would probably agree that you should have a recognizable style, but might be reluctant to call it a brand. So this is just a semantic issue, in my opinion, and I think it's probably more like 80% are agreed on the sentiment here. But when they see that, all of a sudden it's maybe 50% are actually when you're a brand. So anyways, I thought just kind of an illustrative moment on, miscommunication or just how language is slippery, which brings us back to this idea of having kind of a charitable interpretation of what other people are saying. Try and see what that person is trying to say from their own perspective. The charity of interpretation, a profound sort of Greek philosophical idea. Continuing on, how did we end up here? Maybe I just had this open. Anyways, thank you for the shout out, Risetio. It's great. Thank you everybody for the shout outs. I think that was just open. Human Boy, please this is also kind of relating to just another interesting kind of idea. Human Boy. Please take a moment to respond and possibly comment your thoughts on why. I am thinking of making a new account to just share my AI artworks. Is this necessary, or should I keep posting everything to this account? Now, at first, I assume that it's their Twitter, and maybe that is what Human Boy is referring to. So if it's your Twitter, I would say you'd keep the same account. Again, feel free to disagree, anybody out there, if you're putting out AI art. I don't think you need a second Twitter account. But I do like, as far as your art account, you know, if you look at Sumi Reusi, I think she's done a really good job of separating basically her painterly works, her painting works that are more her working versus her AI works, which she puts under the Sum title. So I would parse it a little bit and say on Twitter, I think you should be the same account. But say if you're on Object or, you know, I would start, for example, if you're on Object and Tezos, I would have 2 different accounts. So that's sort of my take on that. Feel free to agree, disagree. So here we go. A wild work here to start us out. Untitled.JPEG will be on display at NFT Paris. This is Parsa Mostagim. I can't attend myself. If you see it, send me pictures of it. I would really appreciate that. So we have volume here. So kind of a wild work here. And there is the title there, untitled.jpeg. Well, kind of sculptural. Even like a distant echo of Hasdrubal Waffle to a certain degree. But interesting, and yeah, so almost like a Plato type image, basically a portrait of someone at their computer. So a portrait of the modern world, and maybe the artist at work here, because we see some artist tools here, we see some colors down here, and some work on the screen that's bleeding out. I thought just an interesting work, so why not? Cool work. Parsa. And Boo Boy, whose work we've looked at, robbery figure of Atlas. So of course Atlas, the Greek, he wasn't a hero. I guess he was a god that kept the world on his shoulders. He held up the firmament, maybe we'd call it. And so here is a portrait of Atlas in Boo Boy's trademark style here on a tennis court. And all sorts of stuff. Anyways, a beautiful work as usual with a real kind of texture and physicality to it. Current bid 0.855. So you see why platforms like this is a real business out here in digital art land. Okay, I mean, someone posts this at 7 a.m. and by 8:27, there's basically a $1,200 bid on this thing. Okay, this beautiful work here. So I think that's why, you know, it's a real business so far. Julian Gashadot, Structures Mint number 0. This project is unpaused tomorrow, Wednesday, February 22nd. So this tweet, I think, was from the 21st. So this is already happening. So we've seen this kind of style before. I kind of confuse the artists sometimes because this kind of 3D, you know, staircases and cities. And remember, there's the rivers in another artist's work. And I love how it comes from just geometric lines into representation here and from simplicity to complexity. So there's a couple of things I want to mention. So here is the work, okay? Now, this is on Plottables. See Plottables platform, which I had never heard of. That is put together by Artblocks. So first, here's the series, and this is the Plottables website. And of course, a pen plotter is those kind of, we've looked at them before, those automatic, you know, pens that go across and will draw works like this onto a piece of paper. Wonderful devices. So connect wallet to purchase on ETH, 0.15 ETH per token, 256. So anyways, pretty interesting. And here is the homepage, Plottables. A curated on-chain generative art platform powered by Artblocks. This is a place for generative artists working with pen plotters to share their work with a larger community. Do I need to own a pen plotter? No. All works minted here exist just like any other NFT. And then certain pen plotters are supported. So pretty interesting. So try it out. So look at that. So anyways, I mean, there's too many things you want to do in this space. I mean, have you started your AI works yet? Oh, don't forget your pen plotter works. And look at this. And then you see this and you go, I really want to do this. So that is one hell of a business card. One heck of a business card over here. So pretty cool. And you know, it works as a piece. And if that's actually pen plotted out, Like, how cool is that? I mean, the pen plotter is such a great solution for going from digital to physical, because it's not perfect and the ink is kind of random. There's a touch of randomness. It is not like a, fancy inkjet printer where it's going to be pixel for pixel, generally speaking, perfect. Paper Crane, a new work, February 23rd, mental block number 14. So pretty cool, kind of looks like a big machine. Almost reminds me of something you would see in a Raymond Roussel novel. I don't know if you know Raymond Roussel, a very famous, in the Surrealist circles, a very famous author who wrote Impressions of Africa and Locus Solus, and how I came to write some of my works, how I came to write something like that. Anyways, that is just a name he would talk about these big machines made by Bex and Cantarell. This is reminiscent of there's a kind of an early fascination with these kind of machines in Surrealism and even a little bit in Dadaism, which we see in the work of Raymond, whose last name I can't remember right now. So anyways, mental block by Paper Crane. Let's just look at the offers on this thing. 420 Tezos at a, $1.30 Tezos. Not bad. Not bad. Accepted offers of 420 to 200. That is really impressive. So Paper Crane continues to do very well. Here's a new artist I just saw on Twitter on Solana, and the artist is Singpentink Happy. I don't think I've looked at their work before. So an illustrator, I guess we'd call it kind of surreal. Interesting things going on. Almost looks like a body of sorts here with the arms, the black arms kind of on both sides here, and all sorts of just interesting imagery here. So this is at a reserve price of 2.5, no bids. It was just listed, I think today or yesterday. IamtheAstra with another illustrative work, Camilla, ink on paper. Actually, so I thought this was a digital illustration. So this is a physical illustration. It's pretty nice, right? I mean, nice. I assume these are, so it's ink. I don't know if these are markers. Anyway, nice work. Edition of 10 for 18 Tezos and 55 Tezos cents. So cool work. Very good looking. Also in the illustrative camp, Drank Frazetta, so he's up to something here. This large work will be broken into 6 cards for the upcoming Vanguard group drop. Collect and burn all 6 and get the full piece in digital and physical forms. So again, more traveling from digital to physical. So this is going to be broken up into 6 cards, and that's hilarious because that is just like what they used to do, say, on the back of Star Wars trading cards back in the 1980s. They would have a big image, and that would be on one side of the trading card. So pretty cool. And of course, classic kind of Conan Pepe moments. And there is the purple drink. You see that? So right at the heart of the action here. So very cool. Wasteman Goldmineovich with kind of a poetic work here. Just black background and someone flying away from McDonald's. Pepe, Move Any Mountain, which was a song by the Shaman in the 90s. Flying Pepe. And you see McDonald's down here. So anyways, the McDonald's BMX, that should exist. That should exist. Buy now for 2 Tezos. A McDonald's retrofitted BMX. That would be very cool. Flora Marquez with another just super interesting work. Again, I think of drama. Like literally the theater when I see Flora Marquez work. And here's just another awesome example. A mask and kind of a ghost and someone dancing. The color, again, I'm really liking just how this is evolving here. And this sold for a mere 15 Tezos to Mentalist 420. Continuing on, Jordi Gandul with one of his architectural works, Royalties. Remember, kids, wash trading is not good. So a commentary on, I guess, the Blur platform, and I guess because you get more tokens if you buy and sell, so now people are manipulating it where you buy and sell, I guess, between wallets, and then you gain more rewards and all that. So all sorts of mayhem going on there. This is kind of interesting. When object token, they have hinted at this in the past, object, about creating a DAO and there being a token. That could be great news for the community there. You know, that was what I was telling a few people privately. I was like, you might as well mint an open edition because, you know, the more you participate in these platforms, generally, the more they reward you with tokens. So, FYI. So anyways, a little commentary from Jordi Gandoul. And interesting work here. I don't think we've seen Zeze before. Though not always faceless, gelatin people often seem as representations of different roles in relationships. Closest I can think of are Malovich's figurative works with similar surroundings that avoid specificity. Is there anything like gelatin people? By No One Noise out there. Okay, sorry, this is by No One Noise. Zeze is commenting. So here they are. I'm not sure if we've seen the work before. It is interesting, isn't it? Kind of reminiscent of that other illustrator who we saw doing the hot dog at the baseball game just a few days ago. It would fit in the same show, but I mean, completely different, obviously. It's working with gelatin, but kind of food and illustration. So again, would work pretty nicely in the same show. Continuing on, a new one by Dextier with a nice message here of never give up in the background, you know, and you got to keep telling yourself that as an artist. And sometimes, again, when you're at your lowest moments as an artist, it's sort of like it's darkest before dawn, you know, before good things start to happen. In Tezos we trust here, so happy with how Tezos is treating Dextier. Jason did a vandal on a wall on the outskirts of town, so it seems to be the same character, Jason. So this is super interesting. I almost started with this, and I'm going to tell you why. Dan Control with the ledger, which is, for those that don't know, this is where you securely store your crypto, or it's basically a machine that helps you securely store your crypto. Cold storage is another term for it. So here are 3 ledger devices. Now I'll tell you what really stood out. It's actually not the ledgers, it's the background. I think this is a huge, simple evolution or innovation on Dan Control's part. He may have done this before as well. But what I love about it is actually how there is no landscape, no horizon line here. So it is simply a gradient, which to me, the background has been boiled down to Dan Control's essence, which are, you know, at least of these series, which are these gradient works made purely with gradients. And I think what I love about this is it kind of solves, okay, the horizon line issue, and even just the landscape. Why is this in a landscape with a sky and grass? Why not just put a simple, very nice light gradient like this? It's pure Dan Control, and I feel like it really captures the essence of what he's doing. Concept art, as he puts it here. It's cold, I feel protected though. At auction for only 30 Tezos, a 1 of 1. How is that doing? They put the auction button back in. I've noticed a few people, like when I put there was no auction button, I think because of the open edition, something, for a couple of weeks there recently, there was no auction button here. When people would go to your page, they had to go here and then click on this and all. I noticed a couple of people had that issue as well. So anyways, Dan Control with a beautiful work here. And I guess he did it here too. Maybe that's why I like this work so much. Just the gradient in the background. I guess it's here too. So it was existing before. But this one really is stunning, isn't it? This last one. Maybe it's the color too. Right? So here it is on a horizon, a pile of ledgers here. A bunch of scrap metal gizmos. They seem usable. I'll borrow one and test my security. Safety, it's so cold, I warm up with NFTs. So after being hacked, nothing can happen. Dan Control was brutally murdered. Is he coming back? So hopefully he wasn't hacked. So anyways, he is putting out an open edition, 0.01 ETH, so very cheap. 4 minted so far. So a low edition, and for another 6 days, though, so you have time. From Dan Control, be safe. Hopefully he wasn't hacked. That would be not good. It happens though. You really have to take, if you don't have a ledger, you should have one. If you collect or even sell, as an artist. Heaven Music in Gray Area at the Flesh Grid saving the day. So a new work by Santiago, a new beautiful work by Santiago on Super Rare. It looks massive, and we were watching this in progress. I recognize some of these pixels. So here's the finished version. And again, I see kind of like I love the big margins, and again, I keep saying the same thing. It's got a Pollock feeling, but it's using digital detritus. It's using, again, what I call digitalia. So I sort of say the same thing over and over on Santiago's work here, but it looks beautiful. So that'll be interesting to see. Just minted a couple of days ago. A new work by Ed Marola. So playing with the vase again, and of course the kind of blurred out pixelation, and he is going from branch to branch with little devils on it. And here seems to be maybe a temple of some kind with a ritual going up and the moon in the background. Balance. There's a lot of poetry in Ed Marola's work, isn't there? Edition of 25 for 5 Tezos. And here's a really nice work also by Ed, Gallery Visit. I quite like this. I was tempted to start with this as well. Just a nice, people in a gallery, and I really like the painting in the background as well, and just really nice dithering, a nice little dithered gradient on the wall here, just simple and nice. So cool work. It's interesting to watch how this dithering here, the solution where it's basically the gradient continues, but where it changes here, it decides to put the floor. But it's really, like, you see the dithering doesn't follow the perspective here, but that works just fine, right? So it's interesting how he could have blocked out a lot of this dithering, but he went with it anyway, but I think it works, and I think it's great. Gallery Visit. Captain's Gift Shop. How are we doing here? We're going to run through the rest here. A nice piece of butter that seems to be melting a little bit, unclear, and just beautiful work from Captain's Gift Shop. 1 of 1 for 10 Tezos from a great artist. Mech.txt, love poem on FX hash, third collaboration with Ice Rain. So I missed this as well. So as you can see here, using Mech.txt's pixel art style, so they put out a work on a series, love poem, on FX hash, mint for 16, and you can still mint, actually. And here are some of the ones that have come out. So very interesting work here. So combining pixel art and writing, almost like that, what is the name of that kind of writing? Asymmetric writing, where you can't tell what language it might be. That's almost what it looks like here. That's what it looks like here. Like, it looks like writing, but it doesn't mean anything, and it's not a language. That's what it looks like to me. I think he wrote something, third collaboration, 100% code, and we have been improving our visuals, code, and variability while still trying to maintain our distinctive and unique style in this third project. You could take a look on the variability on this GIF, or just by simply re-rolling the thumbnail here. So yes, it looks like you're getting all sorts of variables here. So, playing with the generative art possibilities. It's an innocent attempt that I and Ice Rain brewed to help people convey and interpret how their form of love poems could be through these fully generated, pixelated, asymmetric scribbles and calligraphy, glyphs, landscapes, and patterns, more visual details. So here they are. So very cool. Asymmetric writing. It's a good term. It's a good term to know. And here they are. And so very cool. Karim Safa. So I thought this was quite a brilliant work in its simplicity. A GM, like this could be, again, I kind of think of, world-class ad agency. I'd be like, yeah, nice work. It's so simple. It's so simple. I love it. So you can see a GM there. And here's another beautiful work, a Dune by Karim Safa. And so again, a nice picture representation of the natural world, this time with looking like 1-bit, on and off pixels here. Even looks like there might be a sun here in the middle, in the background there, but hard to tell. Yeah, it looks like some sort of sphere. Dunes 4, and we have some offers, and nothing has been sold yet. I think he said on Twitter, like minimum of 18 Tezos, if you are interested. Coda Nakazono with a different kind of work. So we've been looking at Coda's work recently, and usually there's like a biomorphic or organic form in the foreground and usually contrasting with something in the background. Here it's more just kind of one plane. I thought it was pretty cool abstraction though. Sign number 4, and buy now for 3 Tezos, edition of 11. So interesting work there. And here's Ellie Lowe. So edition of 11, this just came out last night, I think. 6 Tezos, so that probably already sold out. Really strong primary market for Ellie Lowe. Let's just see if we can get this working. So a little more chill than Ellie's other works in the office there. You start to forget that this is like a trash artist, and you go, where's the trash? So maybe Ellie is trying out different things. Kind of the warm and soft, fuzzy side of the, but it's still trash in the name here. Trash bag. Trash bagga? Trash beige? Ellie Lowe, more mysteriousness. And this is one that I also missed. Sun, it seems to be a tarot card of some kind. Let me see if I can get it working. A little, yeah, this is more like Ellie Lowe. So interesting, 3 legs. The sun. So it looks like a tarot card. Can you see up here? Okay. So interesting. More tarot. You know, it's like, I think Dali did a tarot deck too, actually. Okay, Into the Solar Mirror, LB, 5 Tezos. Interesting smaller work, kind of abstract work, and really nice. I like the size and texture of this one in particular. Ederol 4 and Mismatcher rescanned from CRT and post-processed on Adobe Premiere, and nice and small, as I keep saying here. And here's just some of LB's other work that he's been putting out on Glitchforge on demand. And I think I just saw this. I was looking at Mario Paint. I think this is a Mario Paint in the icon here, one of the icons that they let you paint with. So anyways, this is some of the works that are going out on that new platform that we're just looking at that features glitch work. So just so you know, Dr. Version with a few works here, Scission Fume, edition of 7 for 7 Tezos. So again, more glitch experimentation, really playing sort of like we were seeing with the PFP project sort of style thing that Hasdrubal Waffle and others were doing, which was kind of using that as a template to just experiment. You know, okay, the hair, we can just put a different pattern. I kind of see Dr. Version doing something similar here, just with the square inside a larger square or rectangle. So anyways, here are some examples. This is a 1 of 1 at auction for 13, and here is a beautiful purple, violet, and pink work. Beautiful colors here. Kind of reminiscent a little bit of the Rothko kind of MCHX. I mean, these are all we're of course gonna see a ton of similarities here, but we see again kind of these color field-esque colors here. Anyway, very beautiful at auction for 13, 1 of 1 as well. Another one from Images of the Week, another AI work here that I think is stunning here. So this is a very just really interesting series. I find it kind of this artificial memory series, and let's just see how it's doing. Yeah, it looks like it sold out for 5. It took a few hours. So anyways, really interesting to follow that. Look at Tukes. Again, this kind of like using, Tukes was saying, remember the comment where Tukes was saying, or the message, where Tukes was saying how he uses ChatGPT to create the prompt for Midjourney, okay? And then maybe we'll combine like different layers together, mix and match them, but basically using AI on almost everything, including the titles and the descriptions, as far as I understand. So another really interesting work. As I say, staring into the heart of technology. Rooms, number 41 by Zoom. I don't think we looked at this. Maybe we looked at this yesterday. but there are a couple more. So again, these painterly rooms by Sum on her AI account here. And we have 52, and using couches, which Sum also likes. This is another nice one here. 3000 by 3000, room 53. So super cool from Sum. And Ile with some beautiful work. She just put out a whole new series, Wakes Lightness 1, working on the AI. And so big shout out to Ile, who did the timestamps, who does the timestamps pretty regularly, if not like every show for the last like 3 months. I'm grateful every time, Ile. And so anyways, show your support for Ile, and it's beautiful work too, so it's easy to do. Edition of 20 for one Tezos, beautiful, you know, painterly landscape here with some bubbles in the air. Here's another one. Lightness number 6, edition of 35. And look at these beautiful colored bubbles across the landscape here from Ile. And finally, threesomes. So another card in this kind of yellowish series here. Again, painting on trading cards, and then looks like there's a bit of post-production on top of it. And again, these have digital capture of original painting, gouache on vintage baseball card, and generally there is, all threesomes have future utility. So working on all sorts of things over there, threesomes. And look at this physical artwork that I found on Twitter. I thought this was like pretty stunning. Very nice kind of composition here. Tim Romanowsky, GM. So very cool. I didn't see there's Instagram, but I didn't see a very quick look at an NFT account. But I don't see why not. Anyway, that is your show. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks again for all the support. I'm on the Spotify. Until next time, take care.